So I have a serious question about all this Charlie Kirk stuff. And it's in part rhetorical, admittedly, but it's also in part like an actual question that I really would like to hear what you all think about this. Because we don't know the answer, at least not yet. And my question is this. Is all of this Charlie Kirk stuff, which, in my opinion, is being just incredibly overblown. Not the seriousness of it, not how horrible it was, none of that. But this is one person who was murdered. And as bad as that was, he is simply one human being who was murdered. And we pay no attention whatsoever to the countless numbers of other human beings who are murdered every single day in this country. I mean, it's been said many times that the people on the right who are making such a big deal about Charlie Kirk's death don't give a damn when 7-year-old children are murdered in their classrooms. Don't care about that. But they don't care about any of the other deaths that happen either, unless that death is politically advantageous to them. Then they'll make a big deal of it. And that's what's going on here with respect to the murder of Charlie Kirk. It's glaringly obvious that they are playing this up for politics. And here's my question. Will all of that create a backlash against Republicans? I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I believe that in the past, it would have. And there are some examples from the not too distant past of people's deaths being politicized and there being a backlash against the people who politicized it. Now, I'm not going to go through examples because I don't want the focus to be taken off of what I want the focus to be on in this video, and then, people start arguing about those other examples. So I want to keep it focused here with Charlie Kirk. My point is that there have been examples where there has been a substantial backlash against the over-politicization of a person's death, be it through murder or otherwise. And so my question is, will there be a backlash here? Because here's the thing. It's past the point, in my opinion, of absurdity. How much focus is being paid to this? The truth is, Charlie Kirk was not a president. He was not universally known. He wasn't some major important figure in American history. The truth is, you and I, most people watching this video probably had heard of Charlie Kirk before and were familiar with him to one degree or another, because I'm assuming that most people who are watching this consume a lot of political news and information. But I don't believe that most Americans had any idea who the hell Charlie Kirk was. But now everybody's heard of him. And not only is everybody being bombarded constantly, no matter where you go, whether you go online, whatever the social media platform is, whatever news station, no, you can't escape it. You can't even go to a fucking football game or watch a football game without being bashed over the head with Charlie Kirk stuff. And so people who had no idea who this person was before, now at least have heard of him and know what happened to him. And by the way, I continue to believe, as I mentioned in a previous video, that I don't think this would have gotten nearly the amount of attention that it has if his murder wasn't so grisly and wasn't captured on video as clearly as it was. I think the fact that there was video, really disgusting video of his death, I think that contributed to it greatly. Not that it wouldn't have been covered, not that Republicans wouldn't have made as much out of it as they could had there been no video of it. I'm just saying that I believe that that video that most people have seen has made it so much easier for them to exploit it. Anyway, but so many people are being forced now, whether they want to or not, no matter where they turn, they're being hit over the head with this Charlie Kirk stuff. And most of them, I believe, had no idea anything about him. What he said, what he did, nothing. And some people are now beginning to hear some of the things that he said. And of course, some people will agree with it and other people won't. Whether they do or not, will there come a point, and are we there? Are we getting there? We're just ordinary people who don't want politics shoved down their throat and don't like it when they see a murder being so obviously politicized. See, that's the thing you can't escape here. Everybody knows what's going on here. Everybody knows that MAGA is using this man's death for political purposes. They know that. Their political opponents know that. And people who are having this shoved down their throats and who don't pay much attention to politics at all, I'm sure, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that even they can see how overtly political this all is, and how this is being used and exploited by Donald Trump and his MAGA cult for political purposes. And I know that in the past, most people would be revolted by that. And that's why I put the question to you now. Do you think there will be a backlash against this? Because I honestly don't know anymore. I don't believe that I have a good read on the American people anymore. There was a time when I thought, generally speaking, that I understood the American people and how they would react to certain things. It's not that long ago that they would see right through all of this. And they would punish the people who would so flagrantly exploit this man's death for political purposes. But I don't know that that country exists anymore. I don't know that that's true of the American people anymore. I really don't. That's part of the thing that I've had a hard time grappling with during the Trump years, and especially since, I mean, him being elected in 2016, you could see it as a glitch of the American political system. I mean, the guy didn't win the popular vote. He just barely freaking won. You know, that it was an aberration. But then they reelected him. And not only did they reelect him, they reelected him after he tried to overthrow the Republic on live TV with a violent insurrection. After he had been indicted 4 times. After he had been found guilty on 34 counts of fraud and all of that. And then the massive fraud. He wasn't convicted of fraud. I'm getting my wires crossed there. He was found liable for massive fraud, which was upheld on appeal despite the reporting on it. He was found guilty of falsifying business records to hide his affair with Stormy Daniels. That's what he was convicted of in New York. Found liable for raping a woman and defaming her, and on and on and on and on. The list of horribles was known about this man, or should have been known about this man when they reelected him. I don't understand a country that would do that, would choose that. And I don't care what you think of Kamala Harris. To me, that's irrelevant. One candidate was a literal insurrectionist, tried to overthrow the republic, a convicted criminal who was promising to be a dictator. The other person was a Democrat, a pretty typical Democrat. Okay, I don't care what you think of her. Under no circumstances should any normal American who cares about this country at all have voted for Donald Trump. And so I do not understand, I cannot relate to millions and millions and millions of people in this country. And so I don't know. I know obviously not everyone is like that. Not everyone is MAGA. Not everyone is so self-absorbed and apathetic that they don't care. I'm not even going to bother to vote. I mean, I don't understand those people either. In fact, I understand MAGA, I think, better than I understand people who see that a literal insurrectionist criminal, adjudicated sexual abuser, is running for president, promising to be a dictator, and some people say, nah, I'm not going to bother. There's no difference between the candidates. It's a uniparty. Or, there's something, there's something new on Netflix that I'd rather watch, so I'm not going to vote. I don't understand those people at all. Anyway, so my point is, in the past, I would have expected a backlash against Trump and these MAGAs for so flagrantly exploiting this man's murder for their own political benefit. I don't know if that will be the case now, because I don't know how well I understand this country anymore. Anyway, what do you think? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.